Tonya Harding's plea bargain a month after the Lillehammer Games legally put to bed the question of her complicity in the assault on Nancy Kerrigan, but doubts over the degree of her involvement clearly remain. So the anticipation, the tension on the day they finally came face to face in the Fox studios in New York City was unique, almost suffocating. While Tonya Harding gathered herself for the confrontation, we began with Nancy Kerrigan. How long had you two known each other prior to the Olympics, and what was the nature of the relationship?
Probably since, I can't remember exactly, but at least since 97. 87. I went to my first international, and we were roommates. Yeah, and we've been on many world teams, and we actually made history with the 91 Worlds, where Christy, myself, and Tonya were all, it was the first time American women had swept World Championships, so it was very exciting. I mean,
so you guys are riding the crest of a nice high then.
Yeah, it was great.
In your mind, was it the last thing that you would have suspected that it was one of your colleagues who was involved with the effort to keep you out of the Olympics? Was that the last thought in your mind?
Well, it had been brought up by other people thinking that. I don't know why anyone would have thought it. Such a bizarre incident.
So as a result of other people bringing it up, did you then suspect that it might have been her camp?
No, I didn't suspect that, because I think that's, I just thought that's crazy. Why would you even say that? That's not nice. You know, that's, but, you know, it's just, I guess, a lot of pressure put on people. They deal with it differently.
You know, when a lot of the sordid, bad, gory details did start to come to light, and whether it was or was not proven that she was either active or a passive participant in this, but did acknowledge guilt in terms of obstruction of justice, were you surprised that she got no jail time at all?
Absolutely. Because I read transcripts from the FBI, the investigation, and they're public knowledge, so I was allowed to read it. And in fact, in a way, they were humorous. And I sat there reading to my mom.
Humorous?
Because it was just, I mean, sort of dumb. I mean, there's really no nice way to say that, actually. But to sit in front of a building and move your car every 15 minutes over, you know, 2 spots so you don't look suspicious or something like that, or go to a city and don't bring any money or credit cards and you're going to attack someone, you know, and just really not well thought out kind of plans, and it sounded very dumb.
And all the time that has passed since, how do you regard her now?
I don't. I think probably only think about any of it when asked, or many times people will come up, or young kids that remember, and they were very young then, and they say, oh, and they ask me about my knee and how I am, and will mention what they think of her, and I don't, but sort of, it's in the past. So much has gone by since then. I'm married, I have a baby, my own family, something I've always wanted and I just love. It's so long ago. I don't know, I just...
Has there ever been a thought, prior to today, of sitting down with her to try and resolve it, to reconcile, to air out the differences?
No, not by me. By many people there have been, but I have a lot going in my life that I care about. I never had anything against her personally, so I just don't understand the whole thing, how it all happened. But then afterwards, I guess, just gets a little tense.
Understand. Is there any room in your heart for forgiveness?
Well, I think from all of it, I just hope that she can learn from that and better her life and not hurt anybody else.
Tonya, okay.
Hi. How are you?
Fine, thanks.
Hi.
Fox Studios in New York City, December 22nd. This is the first time that you two have sat face to face since? Nancy, without a doubt, you two have been, are, and will forever be linked to Lillehammer and the incident. How has that impacted your life and skating, you think?
Well, I think for skating, the incident, in a bizarre way, has helped the sport because it brought awareness to the sport so many millions of people watched that otherwise would never have. And I think because of that, they watched and enjoyed it and are still fans now of the sport. And they watched because of the so-called rivalry, which I don't think there is any rivalry and never was.
And the impact on your life specifically?
Well, I was hurt for obviously no reason. Luckily, still got to get well enough in time to go and compete and skate the performances of my life with the help of my family and the world, really. The entire world got behind me. It was just phenomenal how many people were there supporting me, and just, I couldn't have gotten through all of it without all of them.
A silver
all
lining.
The prayers.
A silver lining through adversity.
Yes.
What about you, Tonya? How has it impacted your life and skating from your perspective?
Well, it was really hard because my whole life I always built everything around my skating career, and I lost everything. I mean, I lost my life and my career and everything else, and it's been really, really hard. But first of all, I'd like to say that congratulations on your marriage and everything else and your new baby. You look great. It's just been really, really difficult. But I go on, and I'm sure as is Nancy, she just wants the whole thing to just go away. Just, you know, she started a new life, and, you know, just let everything just go away.
Has it gone away?
No, not at all, not at all.
How much do you think about it? How often do you think about it?
I think about it every day. I mean, I come across people that come up every single day and say something to me, and so it's always really hard to deal with it.
Have you grown apathetic with respect to those responses? Do you understand why people continue to ask? How do you deal with it? Is it painful?
It's very painful. I mean, Nancy, I want to apologize again for being in the wrong place at the wrong time, around the wrong people. If I would have known anything, you know, in the beginning, I would have done anything I could to stop it. Anything. I mean, I would have dropped everything I had in my whole life to do that. I mean, I say that from the bottom of my heart. I really do. I really do.
But clearly there's still a large segment of the population that thinks that you were, be it passively or actively, involved in the planning and execution of it. True or false?
False.
Absolutely false.
Absolutely false.
Why do you think then, if that is the case, why did you become, at least as I understand it, a main focus of the investigation?
I don't know.
Were you aware that the plot also, at least in discussion, included the possibility of murdering Nancy Kerrigan?
Excuse me?
Did you know that the plot and those who were involved, the conspirators, if you will, had discussed possibly murdering Nancy Kerrigan?
No. Oh my God. No, I did not know that. I did not know that.
Or cutting her Achilles tendon. None of that you knew about?
No.
Is this in any way closure for you? Although you've indicated you've put it behind you, is this in any way closure? Forgiveness?
It will always be there. I mean, like you're saying, it was right linked with an Olympics, and it'll probably be brought up many times. So something that will always be brought back. And there was a lot of pain there for me and my family, and I think it was just unnecessary. Something that just shouldn't have happened in the first place.
Is this closure for you at all, face to face with Nancy?
Well, I would hope that we could go on and just live our separate lives. And I just ask forgiveness that, you know, she has her life and I have my life, and I would hope that we could just, you know, end it.
Is there anything else that you'd like to say to Nancy before parting? Anything that you've had in your mind these past 4 years that you'd like to say to her?
I would just like to say that, you know, I've always wished you the best. I mean, we were friends. I mean, we were on tour together, we always competed together, and, you know, from the bottom of my heart, I really think that you're a wonderful person, and I always have. I always admired you and your skating and your family, and I loved your mom and dad. I mean, I thought that they were always so supportive, and it was hard because I wished that I would have been able to have something like that, and now with my godparents, I have that, and I thank the Lord for that. And so it's just, I just want to have a new beginning, to be able to start a life and be able to live happy.
Your response?
I'm glad you've moved on, and hope that never anything happens like this again and you find happiness. And I hope children can learn from such mistakes and not have any kind of recurrence.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Yep.
We'll let you go, yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, well, we've got a couple more questions for you then, Tonya. Okay.
Thanks.
And with that, an incredibly emotional day for Nancy Kerrigan had come to a close. She had faced Tonya Harding.
As you read her body language, knowing her as long as you have, how did you read it? How did you interpret what you were saying to her, what you asked of her?
It was very hard for her to be here, and I just thank her for giving me the opportunity to sit here and in front of her face to face to say that I'm sorry.
You were pretty courageous to be sitting here as well. What were you hoping for, and did you accomplish it in your mind?
I don't know if I accomplished it or not. I just came because I wanted to say that I was sorry.
Have you resigned yourself to the eventuality, maybe in the minds of many, Tonya, that there are those who won't ever believe you no matter what you say, and especially in light of having acknowledged that you were guilty of obstruction of justice?
Yes. But there's no excuse for me not going and telling them when I found out, except that I was so afraid. I wanted some protection. And the day that I told the FBI everything that I knew, they said, okay, we have protection for you. I went to my father's place, and Jeff broke in front of their agents and beat me up. How am I supposed to feel? How am I supposed to feel if they can't even protect me?
The people who were involved in your life, any of them involved in any way, shape, form, or fashion in your life now?
No. No one.
Any threats since then by your ex-husband or anyone associated with him since then?
Yes.
Recently?
In the last few months.
Specifically?
I've had phone calls on my phone.
Threatening you?
Yes.
How so?
Calling me bad names, telling me to watch out, and hanging up.
A nightmare that won't die?
I don't think so.
If you could ever hope for closure on this from your perspective, Tonya, what would it be? How would it end up?
That I can just live peacefully, happy, and have forgiveness from Nancy and her family.
My final question then, Tonya. When all is said and done, and you're at life's end, can you leave this earth comfortable in the knowledge that you had no hand, actively or passively, in the attack, and that what you're asking for, not only in the way of forgiveness from her, but maybe from others as well, is genuine and should be given?
I believe so, because the Lord knows where my heart is, and the Lord is the only one who knows the whole truth.
And your heart is where, and that truth is?
The truth is that I believe that I will go to heaven because He believes in me.
Because you had nothing to do with it?
I had nothing to do with it.
Thank you very much, Tonya.
Thank you.
Harding continues to blame the lack of security on the FBI. Federal and local authorities, as shown earlier on Fox, dispute this allegation.
Was there closure? Well, judging by this face-to-face meeting, the first and quite possibly the last time such a meeting will take place, I would venture to say no. And as much as Tonya would love to be forgiven by Nancy, as much as Nancy would love to be completely disassociated from Tonya, they seem destined to forever be linked to the events of 1994.